The biggest wins are often the quietest. The most brilliant minds rarely scream, instead they observe. In a world where loudness gets mistaken for intelligence and attention is misread as respect, those who move with subtlety tend to make the deepest impression. We live in an era flooded with noiseless opinions, performative confidence, and people competing to be heard, craving validation with every word they utter. Yet, here's a truth that hits harder than most. The loudest person in the room usually reveals less about the world than they do about their own insecurities. Now, think about the individual who isn't much of a talker, someone who simply watches, responds with calm precision rather than emotional outbursts. That's the person you can't easily read or predict. That person, my friend, possesses power and is often several steps ahead because they don't need to broadcast their strength. Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "Silence is worse. All truths that are kept silent become poisonous." But that wasn't a call to hide your truth forever. It's about knowing when to speak and when to hold back. When you choose silence, you're not surrendering. You're building pressure, gathering clarity, and observing your surroundings without revealing your weapons. Outsmarting someone doesn't require a word. What it demands is strategic thinking, awareness, and emotional control. These qualities are often overlooked today because they're not flashy or loud. But the reality is the silent warriors win wars, not just succeed in debates. This video breaks down 6 profound, transformative ways to master the art of outsmarting anyone, not through harsh arguments or manipulative tricks, but by cultivating silence, perception, and mental resilience. Each point will connect with something real in your life, of things you've experienced, showing you why some people suddenly get intimidated by your presence, how you can read others without reacting, and how your silence becomes your most lethal weapon. If you've ever been talked over, underestimated, or felt like your quiet nature was a flaw, then this is your turning point. But before we jump in, I urge you not to skip a single part. Every point builds your silent strength. Every second here gives you tools they never taught in school. If you're tired of all the noise and ready to command respect with silence, make sure to like, comment, and share this video. And if you're serious about growing mentally, subscribe because I want to see you grow smart, quiet, and powerful. Point 1. Master observation before action. There's a quote I live by. He who cannot obey himself will be commanded by others. This isn't about military obedience, but about discipline in your reactions, knowing how to control yourself first. Your primary weapon is observation, which means more than just watching. It's about deeply understanding others' intentions, energy, reactions, and patterns before you make your move. Most people don't observe it, they assume, they react. They talk just to hear themselves. But those who observe first hold the ultimate advantage. They learn people's weaknesses without giving away their own. Think about a situation where someone subtly insults or challenges you. Usually, the instinct is to defend or argue back, right? But imagine instead, you pause, remain silent, and watch. You notice how desperately they want a reaction, how uncomfortable they get when their attempt to provoke fails. You stay quiet, and that silence becomes a win without even words. Nature teaches us that true power isn't in domination, but in awareness of the soul, your own and theirs. Recognize the emotions lurking behind words: fear disguised as arrogance, insecurity masked by overconfidence, manipulation hiding behind fake smiles. Once you see these patterns, surprises diminish, and so do your chances of being controlled. Those who can't manage their emotions often reveal their entire strategy, but the calm, watchful person unreadable becomes underestimated until it's too late. Start training yourself to listen twice as much as you speak. Notice tone, body language when people lie, their shifts when threatened. In silence, you gather all this info, turning yourself into a mirror where others unconsciously reveal their true selves. The goal isn't just knowledge. It's delaying your response until the moment where you can't lose. Think of chess. A master doesn't play emotionally, wait, study, then strike with precision. If you want to outsmart someone silent and strategic, Learn to observe, delay reactions, and let silence confuse your opponents before you act. Point 2. Make your presence felt without explaining yourself. Friedrich Nietzsche noted that the higher we soar, the smaller we seem to those who cannot fly. One of our biggest mistakes socially is trying too hard to justify ourselves, explaining why we're silent, defending our worth, or narrating every move. The truth is, the more you justify, the more you invite judgment and weaken your authority. If you want to outthink others silently, become someone whose presence enters a room before their words do. Presence isn't about charm. It's about confidence and certainty. It's about intent. Picture walking into a room without saying much. Most might feel unsure or even uncomfortable with your silence. But what if that silence makes others lean in? What if your calm, steady presence leaves them uncertain about how to handle you? That unease gives you subtle control. You don't need to share your plans or justify your choices. Your consistency, stillness, and calm speak volumes. Nature reminds us that those who misunderstand your silence will see you as small, not because you are, but because their perspective is limited. Don't concern yourself with fixing that misconception. If someone misunderstands your silence, let them. If they think you're passive, so be it. The more they underestimate you, the easier it becomes to operate unbothered and unthreatened. This isn't just mental, it's strategic. In high-stakes meetings, in your relationships, avoiding unnecessary explanations and reactions puts you ahead. People who can't understand your mindset are often the ones who judge wrongly. That's okay. Your silence, backed by your presence, is a mystery, an invisible shield that only the observant can see through. Stop giving people your blueprint. Grow in silence, grow in strength. Point 3. Use calmness as a strategic power play. Friedrich Nietzsche said, "There's always some madness in love, but reason within madness." The same applies to every heated situation. In conflict, challenge, or emotional chaos, one universal truth remains. The person who's calm always wins. Calmness isn't passivity. It's control so potent that it can make others feel uneasy. Imagine someone trying to insult you in front of others. Most respond by firing back or walking away, which hands power over to them. But now, picture you just looking at them, blank, calm, unmoved, no anger, no fear, just stillness. That brief pause, that quietness, is more powerful than anything you could say. They expect a fight. Instead, you give nothing. That flipped, unspoken command that you're immune to provocation shakes them. When they realize they can't move your emotions, they lose their grip. That's how you outsmart with silence, be refusing to play their game. Remember, genuine strength in chaos isn't about overreacting. It's choosing reason over reaction. When your calmness creeps into their consciousness, they start revealing their insecurities, raising their voices, shifting blame, trying to assert dominance while you sit in quiet power. Think of the most influential leaders or personalities. They don't scream. They don't argue, they control energy, and they do so through composed presence. When you don't give them what they want, what they're desperate for, you become unpredictable, unshakable, dangerous. Sometimes silence is the most disruptive force of all. Point 4. Disappear to reclaim power. Friedrich Nietzsche said, "Invisible threads are the strongest ties, and seldom is this more relevant than in life's silent maneuvers." One of the most powerful moves often Ferretis to disappear, not permanently but strategically. When you're always online, always available physically or virtually, people become numb to your presence. They forget they need to value you because they never have to miss you. But if you suddenly go quiet, vanish from their route, and their perception shifts. Your absence becomes a loud statement. It's the paradox of silence. Your withdrawal makes noise. Your absence becomes a form of influence, a mirror that forces others to reflect. When someone treats you like an option, confronting them or demanding explanations only grants them power. Instead, pull back, no drama, no explanations, just distance. This move works not just in relationships but in all areas of life. When people expect your constant reaction or attention, your disappearance creates doubt and questions in their mind. What changed? Did I push too far? Most importantly, it signals that you control the dynamic. Removing your energy from those who don't truly respect it sets you free, restores balance, and reestablishes dominance quietly. This isn't about ghosting. It's about growth, silent, invisible growth, showing them that your peace, your energy, and your time are treasures, not commodities to be shared freely. Only observant eyes will grasp the power of your absence. Point 5. Say less, observe more. Thoughts are shadows of feelings, deeper, darker, and often more revealing. Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "The wisest people speak the least, not because they lack thoughts, but because they are saying everything through silence." This point is about mastering that art, speaking little, observing everything. Your silence shouldn't be empty. It should be sharpened perception. When you remain quiet and attentive, you begin noticing the details others miss: patterns, tone shifts, how people treat those they don't need, how they speak about others when they're not around. These tiny clues are gold. They reveal more about a person than any argument or conversation could. People tend to reveal their true selves without even realizing it. They overshare, fill silence with meaningless words, or try to impress. But when you listen and watch carefully, you'll see inconsistencies, hidden agendas, and true intentions. The next time you're in a group, say very little but stay fully engaged. Observe reactions, expressions, body language. Do they seek to dominate, or are they comfortable in silence? Who handles silence with ease? All this data will give you a deeper understanding of the person than a dozen conversations ever could. And don't act on this right away, let it stew. Power isn't just about knowing, it's about knowing when to act. The one who talks too much loses leverage, while the observant person holds all the cards emotionally and socially. Trust your observations and stay hidden, watching for their slip-ups. Point 6. Control the unspoken energy. Friedrich Nietzsche argued that truly powerful things often hide behind masks, sometimes frightening, sometimes mysterious. One of the most overlooked aspects of power is the energy you carry, which doesn't need words. It's the posture, the gaze, the breath, the unshakable confidence that isn't forced but felt. When you walk into a room with self-command, people sense it. It's not arrogance, it's an intangible presence. That silent energy is disorienting because it challenges their need to dominate or control. True power isn't in loud proclamations or commanding speeches. It's in the subtle signals: your calm stance, your relaxed eyes, your measured breathing that speak volumes without uttering a word. Nietzsche believed that great revolutions or influence begin with a form of masked terror. You disrupt comfort precisely because your presence unsettles normal expectations. When you master unspoken energy, you become a quiet disruptor. You don't need to boast. Silence works more effectively. For example, in a meeting, instead of anxious chatting, you sit composed, breathing slowly, calmly, observing others. When others try to outdo each other, you simply smile slightly and quietly watch. That energy causes doubt in others. They start second-guessing their own behavior. This subtle shift turns the focus toward you without effort, turning attention your way while you remain centered. The key: you didn't need to do anything dramatic, just refuse to participate in the madness. Stay grounded and let your calm be your greatest influence. This isn't just social strategy, it's a personal philosophy. When your demeanor shows that your time, your words, your reactions are sacred, people treat you accordingly. The unspoken, rooted in confidence, becomes the most powerful voice in the room. When someone tests you, remember you don't need to win through noise. You win through composure, presence, and patience. As Epictetus said, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. We've explored silence's wisdom and strategic mastery, but let's end with a Stoic truth. Real strength isn't loud. It's silent, steady, and sovereign. The wisest aren't those who shout the loudest, but those who control their emotions best. When you learn to outsmart without words through observation, absence, calmness, and unshakable energy, you no longer react to the world, you lead it. Many confuse silence with weakness because they associate noise with relevance. But now, You understand that your silence is a language. Only those on your level can truly hear it. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. You don't need to out-talk, outperform, or prove yourself. Just don't become them. Let your discipline speak, your detachment speak, and your stillness, your presencito, all the talking. This isn't just about tricks. It's about your new identity, self-aware, composed, powerful. Your silence becomes your shield, your energy your voice. From now on, every room you enter, every conversation you stay quiet through, every insult you ignore is part of a transformation that can't be explained, only felt. Choose silence, choose mystery, choose control. Outsmart with vision, not volume. If this message resonates, like, comment, and share. Let others grow silently and strongly because your journey of mastery has just begun.